Hi, I'm Venus O'Hara and welcome to a new video. I make content about holistic self-love, and today I wanted to talk about online reputation and embracing negative comments. I'm so hot and bothered right now. I was trying to put a dress on and then the zip got stuck and I couldn't take it off, and it just felt, I was so claustrophobic. I was like, for a long time. So I'm feeling like, oh my God. That was kind of like being in a dress prison. Very strange. Anyway, a little sidetrack there. I wanted to talk about online reputation and embracing negative comments because my most recent episode of my podcast is about online reputation. I spoke to an expert from LinkedIn all about this. We spoke about vulnerability and authenticity on LinkedIn, because I find that LinkedIn is a platform where it's all about look at me, status and achievement, and it's a kind of professional platform. And I've started using it more recently, not to spread my message of raising orgasmic awareness, but more so to actually share some of my insights about being a content creator, about just the lifestyle or work style, as I like to call it. So I'm sharing a lot of tips about productivity, struggles, freelance life, and content creation life, and all of that. So it's kind of been quite interesting for me to explore that platform a little bit more, which is a little bit different from Instagram and YouTube, etc. So we were talking about, can you be authentic and vulnerable on there instead of talking about all your amazing achievements or sharing productivity tips, to actually share professional disaster stories. And that's what I've been doing. One of my most popular posts recently, the first line is, I got fired three times in a year, and actually shared the story with you on here a couple of weeks ago. Yes, I wanted to share a bit more about that here because I wanted to give you an update on my podcast. That's the most recent episode, and the one before that I interviewed a self-discipline coach, which is interesting because and then before that there was a spiritual mentor. So spiritual mentor was kind of in the Taoist vibe about the tree just grows, allowing and just let everything unfold, and the self-discipline is like the absolute opposite. And I feel a bit confused between the two messages, really. And I've always had this doubt or lingering doubt in my mind about, should I get up earlier and should I try and be a bit more disciplined with my work? But then I think, but I'm an artist, and I think creativity is all about flow, and having a good night's sleep is key to actually having a good, productive, creative life. Anyway, but let me get into why I wanted to talk about online reputation today. I was at an online reputation management event quite recently, and it was very interesting because I'm not from that world of someone who thinks about that too much. We're talking about people who are, let's say, in the corporate world, thinking about polishing or tidying up their social media profiles just in case future recruiters are looking at them. And you can't have pictures of yourself having in a party vibe or drinking alcohol or passed out or just kind of like up to no good kind of thing. And it was really interesting because I feel that type of fear doesn't really exist for me, because 15 years ago when I decided to become a sexual wellness content creator, I gave up all fear of, I had to let go of caring about what other people think of me in that capacity professionally, because I knew that embarking on the journey of becoming a sexual wellness content creator meant that although I would be opening some doors, many more would be closed to me forever. So that was kind of a personal professional risk that I took, and I assumed the risk and the responsibility of that. And so for me, trying to think about, this looks good on my CV, or someone's going to think this, I just had to let go of all of that and think that people are going to find things about me online that I might not be 100% proud of at this day, but it's done and I'm okay with it. I can't be going back and trying to polish and edit my life just to impress someone. And it also made me think about when I was at university and we were doing we had these careers advice meetings, the career advisor who was going through our CVs with us, and then we would get this advice about what do you want to do, and maybe you should do some voluntary work in this domain, blah blah blah, just to kind of get to impress a future employer. And I thought I was just going along with the flow of life and just well, not the flow, but kind of doing what everyone else was doing and doing what I was told, assuming at that point that I was going to have a conventional life. And I was told that maybe doing some voluntary work in a school, a high school, in the French class would be helpful for me, because I was a linguist. That's my speciality in terms of academia. So I went to an inner city school in Birmingham, and I'm telling you, it was one of the worst experiences ever. It was more like child minding. The kids were out of control. They couldn't even string a sentence together in French. They were not interested, and there was 30 people just completely messing around, paper airplanes. They couldn't even stay quiet. They couldn't even go through their homework. The only good thing about that was I got to practice my French with the teacher who was native French, so that was nice, and chat to her for a bit. But in terms of like career, it was like, oh my god, warning, do not become a high school teacher. It was but to do things like that, just think, oh, it's going to look good on my CV. I think we should think about what do we want to do, and rather than thinking what does someone else, how are we going to impress someone else who doesn't know us yet. I think that's where the focus should be. It's all about authenticity and being true to yourself. And so being a content creator in the topic of sexual wellness, I've had to let go of all that type of judgment from people professionally, even people personally as well, people also making assumptions about me, and just being okay with that, and being okay with being misunderstood, which is a huge strength of character, to be honest. I know some people who want to really correct other people's opinions of them when they get it wrong, but I have to just kind of let it go and be okay. And but also I think, but for me it was I was very how would I say, very sure about what I wanted to do. It wasn't a decision that I took lightly, and I was kind of flirting with the idea. It was a side hustle for me before I actually took the plunge in 2009. It's going to be 15 years this summer. But also what we've witnessed in the pandemic is the rise of OnlyFans, and lots of content creators who are making erotic content, where the erotic content is more about selfies, sexy pictures, and adult content. And I think it's great that people who were in that field before are now in control of their content. However, it's also attracting people who were never going to do that type of content. Just they would never have done it in the past. They're just doing it because they've seen the rise of OnlyFans and they assume it's going to be easy money. But now in that domain, there's so much competition. And, it's not easy to stand out. And I think you have to think carefully about, because if your focus is just about your physique, it's not going to last forever. There's always going to be someone hotter, younger, and more beautiful than you. And I think you have to have something else to bring to the table in life, even though I've done many erotic photos in the past. But for me, it wasn't just that. I was also writing. I've been doing so many other things as well. And it's also a kind of body positive message in my case, because I have a website with no filter. All my photos are unphotoshopped and natural, which is something that's a rare thing these days. And I'm wearing no makeup right now. So I think for anyone who's thinking that sex sells, there's a lot of hard work behind it. You have to stand out. And also there's a lot of competition, and also those doors that might be closing to you in the future. So I think it's something you have to think about very, very, very carefully. And also I wanted to talk about this because I know many people who are who have this desire to share some lifestyle tips or some insights that they have about life, personal life, professional life, hobbies, or whatever, different practices, and that what's holding them back is worrying what other people are going to think about them. For example, they're fearful of trolls, online haters, and even people that they know. And I think that's a real pity to live your life like that, to trying worrying about what other people think of you. I know one of my friends made a post on LinkedIn and got one negative comment, and that just threw them off for the day. I've met many people like that, and I think it's important to not let anything throw you off, and be very sure about your message, what you want to share and why you want to share it. Because even though you might not be a content creator primarily in your profession, everyone is a content creator to some degree, because everyone is using platforms like LinkedIn if you are a professional, and also social media platforms like Instagram, etc. So everyone is sharing, social media posts, even though that might not be the actual, essence of your job. But I think also I want to talk about embracing negative comments, because I think that is a very powerful place to be. I've embraced many negative comments on my channel. I receive many negative comments. Most days I receive some negative comments, and I have to be okay with that, because I see it as a sign of success. Because if you are going to be successful online, there's going to be a lot of negative comments, and you have to be okay with being misunderstood and not trying to correct someone. That shows massive strength of character. And also what has been helpful for me is that my growth over these last 15 years has been very gradual. I do wonder sometimes what it would be like to blow up really quickly and have exponential growth online. How would that affect your mental health? I think that could be quite hard to deal with. And also you could get into this ego space where you're just doing things for likes. And I've met a lot of people doing things for likes, but I think that's not really sustainable long term. I don't think it's going to bring joy. I think you should do things because you have a message, really, and you want to inspire people. And it doesn't really matter how many views you have or how many likes. It's just about getting to that one person or two or whoever it is who's going to be positively impacted by your message. But for me, I used to write for a very popular Spanish newspaper called El País on the online version. And it was interesting because I wrote over 100 articles in several years, and many of my articles got to the top 10. And imagine when you are making content on someone else's platform, it's not the same as making content on your own platform. Because on your own platforms, like let's say this YouTube channel, most people are watching because they know who I am or they're interested in the title of the video. But and most people are going to be supportive in general. But if I'm making content for, let's say, a newspaper, and I'm making an article about sex, when people are looking for sports news or politics or current affairs, and then they're thinking, why is this here? And then they're not my fans at all, they're not my followers, and then they see it and they don't care who I am. And then sometimes the first few comments I would receive from an article would be like, yeah, we agree, great. And I'd be like, yeah, cool. But then the third or fourth would be negative, and I used to really embrace those comments because I knew that I was creating this debate in the comments section, and those were the articles that got to the top 10, the top 5, and sometimes the number 1 spot. So I was like, bring it on. And I had to make so many articles that, having ideas every week to write a new article, maybe 1 or 2 a week, was quite difficult. And when I had negative comments, those were the ones, especially ones where I felt there was some kind of misunderstanding about what I was trying to say in my article. Those were the ones that inspired my next article. I would quote the comment, and then that would be the springboard for a whole new article. So I really embraced negative comments for that reason, really, because they were inspiring new content. They were helping me get to number 1, or the top 5, top 10. And for the most part, I'm quite grateful, because most of the negative comments that I've received on every single platform has been about the content I make rather than me personally. So that's kind of nice, because I know that some people can be very ruthless online and they just don't care. So yeah, I'm kind of grateful for that, to be honest. And but I do like supportive comments. So that's the reason why I do what I do. It's not because I want to provoke more negative comments. I just think it's part and parcel of being online. You have to be okay with it and not let anything like that stop you, or even try and shape your content in a way that makes you a people pleaser. And if anything, you have to get to your authentic message more and more and feel more and more convinced about what you want to say. So let me just check my notes if I wanted to see anything else. I think that's about it that I wanted to talk about for today. So if you have an online profile somewhere, don't be put off by any negative comments. And also think before you reply to anything negative. It takes a lot of courage to have patience and stoop down to someone else's level. And another recent episode that I had with Connor Keys, who I consider now to be my spiritual mentor, we had an incredible conversation about oneness and about unity consciousness, which is a term that I've heard of many times in my spiritual journey, but it wasn't something that I really truly understood or embodied. But now I am embodying it. I really believe that we're all connected, we are one, and we are at one with everyone is connected. And because sometimes when we think about people who don't share our values, that can create thoughts of separation. You think, I'm not them, I'm not like that. And also, but what's helped me to actually understand the concept of unity consciousness is negative comments, because I think this is an opportunity for me to show more love to that person and not think, in the ego space and trying to answer back and be right or get one above them. It's for example, I have a profile on an app called Insight Timer where I make meditation content. It's usually affirmations, and a lot of them are whispered, and some people will write, the whispering is creepy or something like that, and I'm thinking, you knew in the title and the description that it was whispering. So it's not like I gave you a false advertising. And sometimes part of me is like, you already knew, but now I kind of say, thank you for your feedback. And I'm thinking, this is an opportunity for me to show more love, to be more love. So those negative comments are helping me to be more of a source of love to the world. Yeah. Anyway, I hope this inspires you to make the content you want to make and not care about what other people are thinking. And just think about those people who are going to benefit from what you have to say, whether you are a content creator or just someone who has some social media profiles and an opinion that you want to share. That's it for today. Anyway, I wanted to also share with you that I have an incredible meditation called the Life Upgrade Meditation. It's 100 affirmations that represent 12 areas of the life wheel. And it's free. So if you want to check it out, check out the link in the description below. And that's my gift to you. So what do you think about online reputation? Blah, 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 blah. All the things I've spoken about today. I would love to hear your opinion. And if you have a negative comment, those are welcome too. Thanks for watching. Mwah.